Good evening. Welcome to Tara's Tidbits PM edition. Today is Tuesday, April the 1st. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Remember, in these evening edition Bible studies, we are doing the book of John, reading one chapter every night. Tonight we are doing John chapter 7, which means tonight when I go live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will also be doing the book of John chapter 7. We read it, we discuss, we share each other's thoughts, and then we worship, we have prayer, we do all kinds of stuff, and we'd love to have you join us in there for that. We're having a great time reading the Word and studying together, so join us in there, okay? 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So John chapter 7 says, After this, Jesus stayed in Galilee, going from village to village. He wanted to stay out of Judea, where the Jewish leaders were plotting his death. But soon it was time for the festival of shelters, and Jesus' brothers urged him to go to Judea for the celebration. Go where your followers can see your miracles, they said. You can't become a public figure if you hide like this. If you can do such wonderful things, prove it to the world. For even his brothers didn't believe in him. Jesus said, Now is not the right time for me to go. But you can go any time, and it will make no difference. The world can't hate you, but it does hate me because I accuse it of sin and evil. You go on. I'm not ready yet to go to this festival because my time has not come. So Jesus remained in Galilee. But after his brothers had left for the festival, Jesus also went, though secretly, staying out of public view. The Jewish leaders tried to find him at the festival and kept asking anyone if they had seen him. There was a lot of discussion about him among the crowds. Some said he's a wonderful man, while others said he's nothing but a fraud, deceiving the people. But no one had the courage to speak favorably about him in public, for they were afraid of getting in trouble with the Jewish leaders. Then, midway through the festival, Jesus went up to the temple and began to teach. The Jewish leaders were surprised when they heard him. How does he know so much when he hasn't studied everything we've studied, they said. So Jesus told them, I'm not teaching my own ideas, but those of God who sent me. Anyone who wants to do the will of God will know whether my teaching is from God or is merely my own. Those who present their own ideas are looking for praise for themselves, but those who seek to honor the one who sent me are good and genuine. None of you obeys the law of Moses. In fact, you're trying to kill me. The crowd replied, You're demon-possessed. Who's trying to kill you? Jesus replied, I worked on the Sabbath by healing a man, and you were offended. But you work on the Sabbath too when you obey the law of Moses on circumcision. Additionally, this tradition of circumcision is older than the law of Moses. It goes back to Abraham. For if the correct time for circumcising your son falls on the Sabbath, you go ahead and do it, so as not to break the law of Moses. So why should I be condemned for making a man completely well on the Sabbath? Think this through, and you'll see that I'm right. Some of the people who lived there in Jerusalem said among themselves, Isn't this the man they're trying to kill? But here he is speaking in public, and they say nothing to him. Can it be that our leaders know that he really is the Messiah? But how could this be? For we know where this man comes from. When the Messiah comes, he'll simply appear, and no one will know where he comes from. While Jesus was teaching in the temple, he called out, Yes, you know me, and you know where I come from. But I represent one you don't know, and he is true. I know him because I've come from him, and he sent me to you. Then the leaders tried to arrest him, but no one laid a hand on him, because his time had not yet come. Many among the crowds at the temple believed in him. After all, they said, Would you expect the Messiah to do more miraculous signs than this man has done? When the Pharisees had heard the crowds were murmuring about such things, they and the leading priests sent temple guards to arrest Jesus. But Jesus told them, I will be here a little longer. Then I will return to the one who sent me. You will search for me and not find me, and you won't be able to come where I am. The Jewish leaders were puzzled by this statement. Where's he planning to go, they asked. Maybe he's thinking of leaving the country and going to the Jews in other lands, or maybe even to the Gentiles. What does he mean when he says, You will search for me but not find me, and you won't be able to come where I am? There's so many questions, didn't they? On the last day, the climax of the festival, Jesus stood and shouted the words, If you are thirsty, come to me. If you believe in me, come and drink. For the scriptures declare that rivers of living water will flow out from within. When he said living water, he was speaking of the Spirit who would be given to everyone believing in him. But the Spirit had not yet been given because Jesus had not yet entered into his glory. Verse 40, When the crowds heard him say this, some of them declared, This man surely is the prophet. Others said, He's the Messiah. Still others said, But he can't be. Will the Messiah come from Galilee? For the scriptures clearly state that the Messiah will be born in the royal line of David in Bethlehem, the village where King David was born. So the crowd was divided in their opinion about him, and some wanted him arrested, but no one touched him. The temple guards who had been sent to arrest him returned to the leading priests and Pharisees. "Why didn't you bring him in?" they said. Verse 46, "We have never heard anyone talk like this," the guards responded. The Pharisees mocked, "Have you been led astray too? Is there a single one of us rulers or Pharisees who believes in him? These ignorant crowds do, but what do they know about it? A curse on them anyways." Nicodemus, the leader who had met with Jesus earlier, then spoke up. "Is it legal to convict a man before he's given a hearing?" he asked. And they replied, "Are you from Galilee too? Search the scriptures and see for yourself. No prophet ever comes from Galilee." Then the meeting broke up and everybody went home. And that is John chapter 7. So there you go. Sorry, the cats were doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Sorry, they distracted me. But that is John chapter 7. So thank you for hanging in there with me. It was 50-something verses, so a little longer. So again, thank you for hanging in there with me. Remember, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Come join us in the TikTok room and study this with us and hear from others. We do worship. We also read a chapter in the book of Psalms. We're having a great time in there. In the meantime, go have a great evening, and God bless you.